Imagine a world where a single incident could nearly plunge entire nations into war. All over a humble letter, welcome to the 19th century, where diplomacy was a delicate dance, and one misstep could spark a crisis. Let's dive into the bizarre tale of the Great Blueberry Incident of 1890 between the United States and Canada. Now, you might be wondering, what on earth is the Great Blueberry Incident? Well, let me set the scene. It was a time when the US and Canada were still defining their borders after the British Empire had loosened its grip on its North American colonies. Tensions were simmering, and both nations were eager to assert their sovereignty. Enter a little-known figure, John A. Macdonald, the first Prime Minister of Canada. He was a man with big dreams for his young nation. On the other side of the border was President Benjamin Harrison, a staunch advocate for American expansion and influence. These two leaders were at the helm during a peculiar incident that would test their diplomatic skills. In the summer of 1890, a letter arrived at the US State Department from a Canadian farmer who had a rather unusual request. He wanted to know if he could export his blueberries to the US market without incurring heavy tariffs. Now, blueberries were not just any fruit. They were a booming commodity, and both nations wanted a piece of the action. But here's the twist. The farmer's request was inadvertently misinterpreted as a diplomatic challenge, suggesting that Canada was trying to undermine US tariffs altogether. The US officials, already wary of Canada's growing independence, saw this as a potential threat. They thought, what if this was part of a larger Canadian plot to flood the American market with their blueberries, harming local farmers? In an age where agriculture was the backbone of the economy, this was serious business. As news of the incident spread, it sparked fierce debates in both governments. Politicians rallied, and soon the media caught wind of this blueberry crisis. Imagine headlines screaming about the fruit war. Public sentiment quickly turned, with citizens taking sides, fearing that their beloved blueberries might become the next battleground. But here's where it gets even crazier. Amidst this fruit-fueled frenzy, there were whispers of military mobilization. Yes, the US was contemplating a show of force. They even considered sending troops to the border to assert control over the blueberry trade. Meanwhile, Canada, not wanting to look weak, began fortifying its border areas, just in case things escalated. Fortunately, cooler heads prevailed. Behind the scenes, diplomats from both sides scrambled to resolve the situation. In an unexpected twist, it was a simple apology and a promise to negotiate tariffs on blueberries that calmed the storm. The farmer's innocent request turned into a diplomatic lesson on the importance of communication. In the end, the Great Blueberry Incident didn't just resolve in favor of the farmer. It led to the signing of the Reciprocity Treaty, which would promote trade between the two nations for years to come. This treaty, although initially born from a misunderstanding, laid the groundwork for a much stronger economic relationship. So, why does this quirky little incident matter? It highlights how easily misunderstandings can escalate in international relations, especially when national pride is at stake. It's a reminder that behind every diplomatic incident, there are real people and real consequences. Next time you enjoy a blueberry muffin, remember that this delicious treat once sparked a near conflict between two nations. And here's a thought-provoking question for you. What other seemingly trivial events have shaped the course of history in unexpected ways? Let us know your thoughts.